Today, I want to bring you along, and I want your help solving a mystery that has humored me and puzzled me for years. Why are there so many pedals with the word metal on them? I'm going to phone some friends, you're going to make some comments, and we're going to answer that question of, can a pedal be metal? Today's episode needs a disclaimer, and that disclaimer is that it's selfishly for me. I need some answers. I have to have some answers, because in front of me are 50 plus pedals, and they all have a common thread. The name metal is on each of these pedals. Why do we need so many pedals that are metal? Can metal be a pedal? Can a pedal be metal? These things drive me mad. I don't really know because I'm not much of a metal player. I kind of skirt all around it with the music I love. Some of it is heavy. I love heavy guitars. Some of it has roots in metal, but I feel like I'm missing something here, an understanding that I don't have. And today I'm going to learn it with you along for the ride. The main reason I ended up with so many effects pedals that have the word metal in them is that I love the names. I love the names attached to the metal. And I love the graphics. I love that I can look at these pedals and definitely see the eras of how guitar pedal manufacturers pitch their products to guitar players. And to me, that's fascinating. I'm gonna read all the names to you because they're that good. The Black Paisley Liquid Metal, the Metal Screamer, LA Metal, the Metal Charger, Death Metal, Metal Master, Bunnel Heavy Metal, Metal Pedal, Donner Metal Head, Metal Max, Metal Master, Death Metal, Metal X, American Metal, Metal Maniac, Death Metal, Ultra Metal, suspiciously made by two different companies, but exactly the same way. Uber Metal, the oh so famous Metal Zone, Hyper Metal, Metal Core, Heavy Metal, the Visual Sound Visual Metal, Metal Mind, Moon Metal. I really want to keep naming these, but I have other things to do on this episode, so to be continued. Calling Butch Walker. Hello, Butch.
Yo.
Calling Mike from the Devil Wears Prada.
Hey, man.
Mike, what's up?
Hey.
What's up? I'm surrounded by pedals that say metal on them. So like 50 or 60. I'm seeking professional help from friends who have things to say about these metal pedals. So here's where I'm at with
metal pedals.
Metal pedals. I've got death metals, metal X's, metal cores, metal max, metal. I got moon metal. Like
Moon
this
metal.
This is a name.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I don't know a lot about metal. We've talked a little bit, you know, I came in the 90s, like grunge, and then I guess I softened up as I went. I don't know what the deal is with that. But so I am uneducated. So what would you say, Prada, what's the type of metal that you play?
They say metalcore.
Metalcore. That's convenient because I have a Boss metalcore. So this is fascinating. Okay, keep going.
No.
I gotta hear this.
It's kind of been diluted and changed a little bit since what metalcore was to me as a kid. But yeah, that's what they say. I have no idea what that pedal does though. I can guess.
So what was it as a kid? Like, talk me through, like, to you, tell me about metal, like where you got into it. Tell me about the bands. I really do. I need to learn. I'm honestly oblivious. That's what the beauty of this episode is. Guys like you are actually showing me, you know, this world that I missed. So.
Yeah. So, I guess the way I've always perceived it, very subjectively on my part, is that, you know, we listened to like radio rock and whatnot as a kid, coming to age. And then the heavier it got, the more I felt like I could relate, being a pent up, aggro sort of kid. So when it went from, you know, listening to whatever was like new rock or whatever, like, I mean, my first concert was like Incubus. And then when you started you know, then you hear like Slipknot on the radio, and then next thing you know, you're like, for me, I was hooked on like the Solid State Records roster and
Yeah, I'm
sort of
familiar with some of that. Yeah.
yeah, and then
Okay.
like Trustkill and Metal Blade and Epitaph, and they were putting out these records that really spoke to me.
So do you want to hear a metalcore? Because this is supposed to sound like you, I guess. Do you want to hear it? I mean,
I'd love
we're gonna
to
hear it through a phone. Okay, so here's your clean tone. Let's see. Here we go. This is supposed to be your genre. You ready?
Yep.
What is your reaction to this? Let me play.
So I mean,
What's the verdict?
it's pretty awful. I mean, I just hear a Solid State Scoopy crate, which sucks.
Yeah,
Which isn't to
it's
like
pretty wild.
yeah.
So what? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, a lot, especially now, it's so trendy for like cool solid state amps that are a lot of great guitar player and bass players are using. So I don't mean to totally shit on solid states, but a Scoopy solid state is horrible, and that's what that sounds like to me.
So what do you think? Like the stuff I have here, like 50 to 60 pedals, and they're pointed towards metal. What is why do you think that happened? I mean, stuff. It seems like I have a table over here. People will see it, or they have seen it in the episode. But I mean, it ranges from like early '80s through now, and just consistently targeting metal. People wanting to play metal. Like it's a fascinating thing.
For sure. I mean, I don't mean to be too like polarizing when it comes to good metal pedals. And then like
Sure.
I just watched your Boss episode yesterday, and obviously, the Metal Zone is the sort of joke to most
Right.
gear snobs and gurus, if you will. But then, there are cool companies that are pretty aimed towards metal. I think of like Lone Wolf or Dunwich. I have a few Dunwich pedals,
Right.
really cool.
I'm familiar with those guys.
Yeah, and but then at the same time, it was a lot of it, and like the kind of joke of it is like the Metal Zone. But then you have something like the HM2 that is taken extremely seriously and has such like a cult.
It's a great pedal, yeah. It's
It
bizarre,
is.
yeah.
It really created a world and a sound, but I don't use any pedals that say metal on them. No, I mean, to me, I think really just like the TS9 is about as metal is what most used it for, and then there's a lot of emulation and whatnot. But for me, I'm more of like an overdrive guy compared to distortion pedals. And with that, I kind of, for my own taste, am a little separate from pedals that say metal on them.
So tell us, like, tell me and everyone else, what is your rig? Like, when we're listening to your albums, your records, how do you achieve that? What's like, if you had the simple rig, you had to go keep it simple, like, what can you get by with?
This is going to sound like I'm totally kissing your ass, but I've been really hooked on the Moonshine since you guys hooked me up. So the Moonshine's been a really quintessential piece of my sound personally for a while. Yeah, I mean, and then, I mean, with, like, the last Prada record, Transit Blues, the Moonshine was actually always on for all of the bass tone. So, obviously,
Really?
it works really well versatility-wise. As far as what a lot of the guitars are is going to, like, on Transit Blues, is really a Soldano. Kyle plays an Avenger 100. Those are just really kind of like out of the box, really great high gain amps, and Kyle really swears by them. He's playing a different amp now that's kind of replaced it, but at the same time he uses his Soldano pretty religiously. And I think that is kind of it's become a really fundamental piece of the Prada sound as far as live and recording wise.
That is really cool. So it's heavily amp dependent, and then you're just hitting it with something like a Moonshine, like something with a little mid bump, like a screamer style pedal.
Yeah,
That's kinda good.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, I think back to like Dead Throne, which was like our fourth record, and that was a lot of just like an old 5150 with a TS9 in front of
Okay.
it. Or actually, not it was the I think it was the Maxon clone of a Tube Screamer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Worked really well, and then from there, I think we used something similar on the record after that, and now we're pretty locked into like a Soldano, but. Depending on the part, we love swapping through amps. For me personally, I don't own a Soldano right now. I'm just really hooked on my vintage 800, and I put a Moonshine in front of it and Lawler Imperial pickup, and to me that's pretty tried and true, and that's my high gain sound.
So, in your opinion, you can't put metal in a pedal. That's what I need. That's the yes or no that I need. Do you think you could put metal in a pedal?
Yeah, I think you can when it comes to like an HM2 or even like a Rat. Like we never talk about
Okay.
Rats so much anymore.
Great.
But I mean, come on. As far as it's so legendary. They go all over the place. Yeah, so I mean, I think you can with the TS9 or a Rat.
Okay.
Or cool guys, or even like like a Japanese HM2 that defines so much of like the Swedish death metal sound and that whole, again, that total cult world. But
Yeah.
I don't think there's good metal in a metalcore pedal. I think you can, but there's a lot of swings.
I hear you. Well, I feel more educated now. I'm glad you were able to chime in here. This is super useful. Metalcore, man. I don't know. I don't know about this. I don't know. I'm gonna have to come hang out with you, play that guitar rig in person.
I'm here, man, and I'm sure around KC. I'm always around KC, so I'll let you know, man.
Let's do it. You come by the shop again as well. All right. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too, Josh. Later, man.
All right. Bye. So this pedal is called LA Metal. Does that sound like LA Metal?
Well, through the phone, it sounds like you're playing Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins, but like, which sort of sounds like the same sound too. I kind of like equate it to, it's like a pop singer is in the studio in the early '80s, and he's like thinking,
yeah,
I want to get that hard like metallic guitar sound, and then like they have a
and he keeps saying metallic.
Yeah, and then they have like a
he
session
keeps saying
guy
metallic
come in that's never played metal or through a proper like metal amp or anything like that, and so he probably pulls up that pedal and puts it on and then plays Highway to the Danger Zone, and then everybody goes, yeah, that's it, and they're all high-fiving in the studio, and
okay,
they're saying, we sound like heavy metallic.
What's the deal with the metal? What's the deal? I have a void in my knowledge.
Well, it's the first time that like bands got signed like back in the day off of the prowess and speed of their fucking guitar player instead of like the singer or the drummer.
Okay.
It was a new thing for like the guitar to be the mouthpiece of the band and also rival the attention of the singer. So I think being that the tag was that the genre was called heavy metal, hence here comes the onslaught of metal pedals.
I got into guitar because of Pearl Jam.
Sure.
So I missed this. I think what I got into killed that maybe or something. Like there's something I missed.
Definitely.
Yes.
That's okay.
But I like
That's
this
okay
guitar.
that it did. It's okay that it did. I mean,
you seem to be totally fine with the fact that it's okay. So that's good. I feel okay about it.
Well, because metal still thrives and it's still huge. And it just doesn't have the same hairspray as it once had, or the hair. Okay. It's maybe a little bit more serious, and back then it was kind of like more escapism music. It was like the yacht rock of hard rock music. As far as it's all about sex and sex and sex.
Sure, like this LA Metal. Did someone probably do cocaine off of this pedal? That's kind of that's what we're talking about here.
Have you checked under the battery compartment to make sure there's not a gram?
I haven't actually. Hey, hand me that Metal Maniac. Here's one for you. You have some sunglasses? Let's see.
I'll put on my old man glasses.
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
See that color?
Barely.
See, that looks like
your shirt. Your
that
shirt
looks
went
like
away.
Yeah. What? That looks like there's some drugs involved in this stock.
Probably. What is that, a DOD?
Yeah.
I can't see it.
That's a DOD. That's an FX58 Metal Maniac.
Damn. I'm trying to think of a good abbreviation for DOD having to do with drugs, but
here's what's great is it's made in Sandy, Utah.
Sandy,
I don't
Utah.
know. There's got to be some humor there.
Right.
This is all fascinating, and I love what you're saying about. I just feel like it just got commercialized and out of control. That's kind of what I'm seeing here with the pedals, maybe.
Yeah, and then it's hard to find one that probably has stood the test of time. Have you tried all 60?
Yeah, there are a few. Like the Boss Heavy Metal has a thing.
It has a thing. It has a thing, that's for sure. It's also the coolest looking of all of them, I think.
I need to send you this though, because this I feel like you could put this like hang it from your rear view, drive around Santa Monica, the LA Metal.
That would actually make a great rear view mirror pendant. Yeah.
I'll send you
or
one
actually
of these.
mount it next to the gas pedal in the car.
Yeah, LA pedal to the metal.
The fucking metal, bro.
Can you believe there's never been a pedal to the metal?
Pedal.
I need to make a pedal to the metal.
Pedal.
A pedal that is a pedal to the metal for metal. So tell me a metal band I need to listen to understand metal, like metal.
Oh, you mean like?
I don't know anything.
You mean vintage metal?
I know like Metallica. I'm aware of like Megadeth. That's like as deep as but I don't know much.
Well, Judas Priest, for sure.
Okay.
Like, did you not listen to Judas Priest growing up?
No, I don't even know a single song.
You're younger than I am, though, so you would have missed all that.
Did they play this guitar?
No, they played way cooler guitars. They played like classic V's and SGs, and then when they went into like, let's call it holy shit, this would be definitely the cocaine days where it went into they were playing some like Hammers, very pointy guitars with lots of pointy headstocks but this was like way later, like a Turbo Lover era, I think it was.
Okay.
But I grew up on like Priest and Maiden. And Priest and Maiden were they were my benchmark, like metal dudes, like to me. I mean,
I'm aware
of
some Iron Maiden.
What's that?
I'm aware of some Iron Maiden. I wanted to go back and check it out again.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously
it's a Judas Priest.
It's obviously everybody knows though. I'm not trying to just win points by going with obscure references like that. That's not. Sure. I could do that, but I'm just going to go layman's terms here and say, like,
straight ahead. Start with
Priest and with Iron Maiden because those were like, twin guitars, dual lead solos, gothic lyrics, and one band was probably more overtly sexual in their lyrics. That would be Priest. But a lot of also the other funny thing is that nobody realized he was singing about men, and not women. Probably.
Yeah. That probably threw some people off in hindsight.
Yeah, and then Iron Maiden were just singing about like Dungeons and Dragons and gothic wartime because like Steve Harris, the bass player, was obsessed with like medieval times and old ancient like European history and things like that. So it's pretty cool. Like it's pretty fun to listen to. But I mean, you go back and dive into their early stuff. I mean, you can go to Judas Priest before they were even metal. They were kind of like a little bit more psychedelic, and in the late '60s they started. So like early '70s stuff early '70s. I think they didn't start sounding remotely metal to me till like late '70s. I think
I had no clue they were that old. That's fascinating. That's super crazy to me.
Yeah, now don't quote me on when, because I'm sure there'll be some guy watching this, some guitar-ed guy that's going to ream me a new asshole for like not getting my...
While we're filming it, there's a thread already. Nobody's seen the footage. They feel it.
Yeah, they're already talking about, what does that guy know? He fucking plays acoustic guitars now. So, but that's okay. I got to do something or my hearing's going to keep fucking going on. So,
if you're getting a band together, you and like 4 dudes, what's your metal rig? For your classic metal, tell me about a metal rig.
I have the head. I'll show you.
Oh yeah.
The head is. Hold on a second. I'll move over here. Let me turn the camera around. Okay. This is to me. This is the quintessential head right here. This is the Mesa Boogie.
Oh.
This is a purple stripe, Mark III, and it's actually one of the early Mark IIIs before they went a little bit too circuit board with everything, and it is a monster. I mean. There's my magnet. That'd be my monster magnet. So I don't know. I keep that there just to keep the mid range because these EQs, the graphics were super sensitive. If you like sneezed on this mid range, it would turn from like Priest to 87 era Whitesnake to fucking Metallica. And there's all kinds of push pulls and shit here. But it's a really dope amp. I would run what I would be running is I'd be running that through probably my matching 412 boogie cabinet with the fire grate metal grill front. I'd probably have a tube screamer in the front of it for leads, and you just keep it on. You just most people would go between channel 1 and 3 because the 2 channel was a crunch channel. It was never enough gain for metal dudes. But it's a good sounding crunch channel. It sounds like the Cult to me when you go to channel 2, which is a great rock and roll guitar sound. But but the first one is like super, super clean. They love that because you got to put chorus and reverb and delay and all that shit on it, so that when you're playing your E minor 7, it sounds like you're summoning wizards. And then you go to 3.
Every note.
Yeah, and you go to channel 3, and then it's like straight up like Crying in the Rain, White Snake, all that shit. And a lot of bottom end. Those amps have ridiculous bottom end in the graphic EQ because it's crossed over. I believe it's 60 or 80 hertz at the bottom where you can really, or no, it's 100. You can bump that shit like crazy. So I think that would be my metal rig. It would be pretty basic, but it would be just that and probably a tube screamer in the front of it. Even though the tube screamer was never considered like a metal pedal, but that would negate the purpose. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would have never had good results putting a heavy metal pedal in front of a amp that already has enough gain to level a condo building in Nashville.
That's where I'm going is so your metal rig, the rig that gets you in the metal zone, so to speak, it would not have a metal pedal.
No, sir.
That's what I'm getting at.
That would be if I were in the studio and I were like I said, if I were a session guitar player and like Kenny Loggins was asking me to fly into the danger zone and I put up my metal pedal in front of whatever, like some sort of like, I don't know, like a Roland jazz.
You come in with a jazz chorus or a twin reverb and he says, "Hey Butch, danger zone," and out of your back pocket you're like, "I'm a metal maniac all of a sudden."
Yeah.
That's what this is about.
A lot of those guys were using Rockman too. Like they were using the Rockman, the Rockman 2 and the Rockman, and then the Rockman sustainer unit.
So it's just all mids.
Yeah,
it
was very
a lot of mids.
Very nasally mid-rangey sound, but an epic clean sound with a chorus, like epic clean chorus sound.
Okay.
The ultimate if you're using single quill pickups, which you have right there in your Jackson
I've got a lot of stuff.
Is that a Jackson soloist? I don't see the headstock.
No, it's a Jackson.
Oh, it's a Jackson. I never saw the headstock. That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Is it a neck through the body? Is it a neck through the body?
Yeah.
Oh, baby. Yeah, that looks like one of those like Jackson soloists, I think they were called. But,
I think it is.
What kind of pickups are in it?
We have Duncan humbuckers, like stacks.
Oh, like hot rails.
So 3 humbuckers.
Yeah.
Hot rails.
Hot rails. Nice. Yeah, because you got to have that. Yeah, you can't. It's like the only person that gets away with playing anything halfway metal sounding through single coils is Yngwie Malmsteen, Somehow.
Well, dude, this has been an education in metal from Butch Walker. That helps me understand an angle of this.
Nice.
I just didn't get it. Now I get it. The Kenny Loggins analogy locked it in for me.
Perfect. Well, I'm glad I could be here for you for that,
That I have you on my speed dial. What people don't know is we do this almost every other day.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
great.
Dude,
have a great time. Rest of your day out there in beautiful California.
I'll do so.
You're in the studio, right?
Yeah, I'm in the studio. I'm finishing up a record.
We'll have to get out. We'll get out there with you and do something sometime.
Radical. Love it. Come on out, man.
Cool. All right. Have a good day.
All right. See you, Josh.
Here's where I'm at. So, and I've told you this before. I love your thoughts and how you name pedals and your branding. I love your brand. So I'm going to do an experiment with you. I'm going to hold up some pedals that I enjoy the name of, and I want to see if you can
this is gonna be fun.
If you can summon within yourself that moment in which there was a board meeting or something, some scenario where they said that's the name.
All right, I'm game. Let's play.
Here's our first offering from the company Rocktek. You're familiar.
Rocktek.
The Metal Worker.
The Metal
Worker. The Metal Worker. I have thoughts, I just want to see your first initial thought of the Metal Worker and that font. Do you see the font?
Yes.
Yeah.
So my feeling is they're watching a video, like Patton Oswalt has described this, where there's like the guy wearing the vest but no shirt on playing, and they're in the factory, and there's like the factory creates nothing but sparks. So they're like some guy's angle grinding metal, and there's some band playing, and they're like, oh my god, Metal Worker. Metal Worker.
And everyone in the room.
Metal Worker.
And it's a hit, right? It's a hit.
Oh, yeah.
I like that scenario.
We'll go.
This is my absolute favorite metal pedal I own. This one. It's a Polish brand called Exar. I have a bunch of these. I started collecting them. I put one in the bonsai.
Exar, yes.
All right.
This is great.
Moon Metal.
Moon Metal. That looks kind of like the Jacques enclosures.
He must have something to do with this company. Yeah. But Moon Metal. Like
Moon Metal.
This is a name.
There's like, it's like one day the designer is there and he's like they're debating the moon landing if it really happened.
Okay,
and then they're
I like this.
And it ends up on an article where there's those rocks that have come back from the moon, and all of a sudden some of them look like they have ferrous materials in them. There's some reflectiveness, and they're like, yes, moon metal. It sounds so heavy, like it sounds like a meteorite smashed into a planet and made it cold and full of death and craters. I imagine their idea of metal is much more like a band like Creator with a K, it's like cold and hard and dark. Yes. And
let me grab one more. I forgot about.
Yes. Oh, good. Oh, good stuff.
Same company. All right. Same company. Yeah. Same series. These actually came out the same year. There's an ad. So we had Moon Metal, and then they dropped this bomb. The Metal Mind.
Metal Mind. So that's a little more playful. It's got some red and purple, and it has a little bit of a comic booky kind of thing. So I'm imagining like those villains like Mastermind or the Master Mold. I'm imagining like those Marvel villains. There's like one villain that has like Brainiac or someone who was like the head is like 10 times sizes than the body. And he's there in a chair, and he's shaking and old, and lightning bolts come from him, and they're like, yeah, that seems pretty metal. Seems pretty metal.
It's hard because Moon Metal's my favorite, but there's something about this one that is like just right there for me. Like, I think I would actually release this. Like, I would use this entire concept, and I may.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I'm game. Oh my god, metal pedal. So this is I love it, and it kind of have you ever seen the movie Repo Man?
Yeah.
All the stuff in the grocery store is all just like beer, cereal. Like it's all just like so on the nose of what it describes.
So explain this meeting. They're in a meeting. It's a Monday morning. They got to release this pedal. They're like, what's the name?
Some guy has an idea of like, he's probably got a vision of, he's pitched some name. So he wants to call it Mjolnir or something like like Thor's hammer.
Something a little heavy.
He's very excited about naming it Mjolnir or something, but he kind of showed his ass at the last company retreat a little bit. I'm with you. He yelled at somebody. He's lost all the leverage in the room with the big boss, and I'm imagining an older man, kind of like the old man in RoboCop.
Yeah.
He's just like, I can't deal with Dick today. I can't. And
he's like, in his mind, he's like, it's even a good name, but
it's even a good name, but I don't even want to put up with him anymore. I'm over it. And so they moved the meeting where it was supposed to be named up an hour so that Dick isn't there. And then next thing you know, they're like, "Oh, it's out already. It's Metal Pedal. We're done. It's
Metal
too
Pedal.
late. It's good.
It's done."
I love the look though.
No,
is that ADA?
It's an Aria MP5. So there's a whole series probably. These are made in Japan, 80s. I mean, I really hope and pray there's like chorus pedal, flange pedal, drive pedal, boost pedal. There's got to be. I want all of it. And they feel so collectible. Yeah. This feels very collectible. Yeah. All right, this one really got me. So I got a hold of this. I can't even pronounce the name. It's some Chinese company, Bunnel. I don't know. That doesn't matter. Yeah. It's called Heavy Metal. So, you're thinking, it's a Boss clone. There's tons of those heavy metals. But there's something...
That looks like the people made... Yeah.
I don't know if you can read here. Can you see this?
No, I can't.
Oh, wait, let me just trust me. It says violin pedal. And then I looked up the copy, and it says... A pedal specifically designed to bring heavy metal tones to the violin. Please elaborate.
Wow. Okay. They, at the time, are imagining something like Trans-Siberian Orchestra, perhaps?
That's all I could picture.
Or something?
All I could picture
and they're just like... Or like there's like the dudes who used to play with Shania Twain that would flip their bows. They're like dancing around like that. Like they're flipping drumsticks and twirling.
It's like
they're twirling their violins,
like Celtic dance metal.
Those pedals look like. Do you remember when Sabine, the tuner company, tried to make some pedals?
Yes,
it looks a lot like.
It's probably the same style. I mean, this is the most like awkwardly generic thing you'll ever hold. Like it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. But the fact that little violin pedal, I mean, they had a meeting one day, and they're saying, these guitar pedals aren't selling, Earl, and let's target the violin players.
They need pedals. Do you think they were thinking about the guy in Yellow Card, maybe? Like they could kind of get that guy. A lot of this stuff kind of has that 80s and 90s marketing feel to it, and that there's a little bit of a contrary move to when you think about Electro-Harmonix, they had very like artistic names, but Electro-Harmonix was dead at that time, and so they're like the lesson being taught in the marketing rooms in the 80s about pedal naming was all like, you just got to bluntly say it as bluntly as possible.
Just get to the point,
you've got to get to the point, man. Does this make metal? Does this make hard rock? Is this Supra? Did they make a Super Distortion? Then this is Supra.
Is it Ultra? It's Ultra.
Is it Ultra?
That DoD has metal. We have Ultra metal.
Yeah. Can we make hyper metal? Can we make hyper metal?
There's tons of hyper metals. There's like 5 over there.
Metals. I know. There's hyper metals. Like they are like.
There's so many.
They're looking at MXR and EH and Boss, and like they're like, these are the lessons. Like we've got to just say what it is, like as compartmentalized as possible. You do not want your users making any abstractions, or any like.
Don't confuse
having to
them.
make any such. Don't confuse them.
For me, like a little education in this is pre-internet. Most of all this, so the market, no Harmony Central, no Gear Page, no Instagram, no Twitter, no Facebook, no opinions other than when you walk into the shop and you're like, what's behind the counter? And then some dude that probably doesn't have a clue what they are. You just have this moment where you go, I have one guitar store. What do they carry? That's a cool name. And that's it. Yep. It was that small. And I can't even get my head into that. Even when I got in, I was already on the internet printing tabs, and I was seeing a couple things. I could Google, and there was the beginnings of like, can I go look at Johnny Greenwood's rig a little? Like just a little. Or like there was a Pearl Jam website that was like, here's all their gear, and some dude sitting in the basement like meticulously broke down all the all the live records. But in this era, that's such a crazy concept because 2018, oh my gosh, type overdrive into Google. It's just a crazy lesson in like the evolution.
It is a crazy lesson.
Yeah. It's
completely. Wild. And you think about before, when a lot of that stuff emerges, you're absolutely right. It was like, let me go into the shop. There's probably 1 or 2 dudes who totally shred. And you're going to be like, oh my God, that guy Steve can totally shred. Yeah. What does he recommend? And if Steve goes like, you need that pedal. And you're like, sounds good to me. Ultra metal, hyper metal.
You leave with the metal pedal. If Steve says buy it, you're out. Well, dude, this has been a marvel. This has been a blast. I have a feeling you'll be a recurring visitor to the vlog. I love it. And we will do one together at some point. We'll have to find a way.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thank you for having me part. That was hilarious.
All right, man. You have a good day.
You too.
Today's record time is brought to you by the amazing Mr. Ryan Adams, and it is an album called Orion. It's super weird, super rare, and probably my favorite Ryan Adams record. I have a couple copies, just different pressings, same music, different artwork. But long story short, this is Ryan Adams writing a comic book and basically putting it to music. And in that, it's amazing. Songs like Signal Fade, Imminent Galactic War, Gorgon, Master of War, End of Days, etc. It's really, really cool. And it shows his ability to swing wildly and do any kind of music that he really wants to do. The story with this is really cool. I actually texted Ryan and I said, hey, tell me the story because it's one of my favorite records and I just have really never heard it. And he said in the middle of Easy Tiger, he decided to take a break and do a tribute to Dennis DeMore of Voivod. So that's what this is. It's him paying tribute to one of his favorite bands, favorite musicians, and it really shows when you listen to it. Good luck finding it. I know there's vinyl pressings. I don't know if it's downloadable, but Pac Sam, I'm sure, has some copies, or at least find it on eBay. With that said, here's your job to me. I need your help with getting into metal, with understanding the bands who made it what it is, and the things that make it what it is today. So put those in the comments. Drop me some hints, kind of lead me, direct me in the ways of metal, help me understand what I'm missing, and basically give me the little gateway bands I need to get into, the things I need to know, the people I need to listen to, and the albums I should care about. So drop those in the comments and I will check them out. Guys, I had a blast doing this episode. I learned a lot from my friends. That was super fun to get you involved in that and to also get you involved in seeing a little bit of a history in pedal marketing, so to speak. So if you like this episode, hit like, subscribe to the channel as well, and then there's a bell. Hit that bell, and every Thursday when we post a new vlog, you'll get notified. You need to see every episode, and if you haven't, go back and watch the old ones. I think there's tons of amazing information, and I love where we're going with the vlog. And as usual, I would absolutely love for you to leave some comments. And today, leave some comments about what this episode kind of got you thinking about. Let's talk about these metal pedals. Let's talk about pedal marketing. Let's talk about the names, why we buy things, why we shouldn't buy things. I think that's an amazing thing to discuss, and I really, really look forward to seeing what you say. So until next time, I need to go home because all my employees have gone home. Bad metal, metal, version 1, version 2, you guessed it, version 3, heavy metal, ultra metal, super metal mini, extreme metal, fangs metal, ultra metal, heavy metal, the metal worker, the micro metal muff, cool cat metal, black licorice, beyond metal, fab metal, classic metal, thrash metal, metal max, full bore metal, Moen metal, bullet metal, BBE, American metal, the Donner giant metal, box of metal.